If you thought things couldn't get worse for Ubisoft, you're wrong, considering they have completely cancelled their appearance at Tokyo Game Show 2024, stating that they will not be hosting an online presentation for Assassin's Creed Shadows in Japan.
I wonder why.
Why Ubisoft and Sony are all just dying right now. You see, I've been thinking about this and I've come to this conclusion. All these AAA gaming companies, to be more specific, Ubisoft and Sony, have spent the past, I would say, 3 years trying to create one of two games. One is they want to make the next Fortnite. A game that is a live service game that you have to put as little money as possible into, but turns a profit year after year. That's what they were trying to do with Concord. Yes, I do legitimately believe they actually thought they were going to turn a profit with that game. That's how much copium they were huffing. With Ubisoft, it's the exact opposite. Ubisoft is so terrified of making something new and failing that they're just going to create the same clone of a game over and over again. AAA games don't innovate anymore because they're so terrified of losing money. Greatest example of this is Sony making remake after remake, because they would rather release the same game over and over again with a little investment after a little investment, rather than, I don't know, make a Bloodborne 2. So basically, they forgot how to innovate and they just copy and paste.
Ubisoft has been in the news for a while now, and what I'm hearing people say is that apparently the company is in a bad situation, and for some strange reason, tickle me not surprised, Star Wars Outlaws has not been giving what Ubisoft thought it would be giving. I already knew it wasn't going to be when I saw the trailer. And that's not to say the game is completely bad, but for me, it just looked very generic and uninteresting. One thing I'll say is that the animals look nice. I like the world. I like the cute little warthog slash dog things, kind of like Creatures of Sonaria, where you play as the animals and traverse the world and explore it, but also have to survive other animals in this world. Like, look how beautiful these designs are. You have these wonderful, breathtaking designs of the creatures, and then there's the human main character. Ew. Like, why does she look, whatever this is supposed to be, look worse than the freaking aliens and the creature? How are you gonna make these aliens look so much more beautiful than the main character we're supposed to be seeing repeatedly throughout the game? Even through the cutscenes, we're like disgusting, like nasty. I know that's not the only thing that makes a game, but it's a really big part of it. Then of course there's Assassin's Creed Shadows, which already has been marred in endless controversies, to the point where Japan is even involved now. Rightly so, because this is supposed to be based on their culture and supposed history, and yeah, those people's consultants that were supposed to be there to help people be respectful of other people's cultures and whatnot, where were they during the making of this game? But anyway, the fact that they have somehow been able to hide the dislikes, but seeing as they have 1 million views on this video, but only 23,000 likes tells you everything you're supposed to know. And it's that there's why that probably is, and why the gaming community as a whole, no matter what they look like, no matter what gender they are, have an issue with how this was presented, especially when you hold it up next to the other Assassin's Creed games. But we're not here to talk about that. We're talking about how these entitled corporations and their mouthpiece employees usually respond when us customers criticize them for not delivering quality products. Instead of taking responsibility, they serve up dismissive or defensive replies and ignore the valid concerns about their work. But don't worry, since they seem to be confused, I am always happy to lend some enlightenment so that they can understand where the customers are coming from, like, you know, they actually care, they don't. So Stevie Chassard, whatever, starts off by saying, I rarely post on social media, but today I am sad, ashamed and sad. Baby girl, what the gaming industry is rough at the moment. We all know it. Oh, do you now? But seeing how gamers react on social medias, wishing ill fate to companies and people alike is sad, and not only towards Ubisoft. Excuse me, sir, are you a gamer? Because the irony of you saying this and this post alone is just chef's kiss. Even though it is always the vocal minority that express themselves on social media, I was hurt and ashamed to be part of this community. My brother in Christ, if you just admitted that it's the vocal minority that express themselves on social media, then why would that make you lose your shit and feel so ashamed and acting like this is a bigger deal than it is. You can't have it both ways. You, in the same sentence, just admitted that it is a very vocal minority, but yet that leads you to be ashamed and sad because I guess you're new to the internet and social media when you don't realize that other people are going to have differing opinions and going to be very extremely vocal about their expressions just like you're being now. What's even more revolting is coming on LinkedIn and seeing the same comments from people within the industry on top of exposing yourselves as a clearly non-decent human being. You're affecting thousands of employees that are already impacted by all the hate despite doing their best to deliver incredible experiences.
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
So you're upset because people on LinkedIn, of all places, I know, right, people still use LinkedIn, whatever, are pointing out that your games aren't exactly top tier. Tragic. I mean, it's not like you're part of the massive industry that's literally banking on public opinion or anything, right? Let's not forget, you admitted it's just a vocal minority once again on social media. But yet, here you are throwing a verbal tantrum because the little people, the vocal minority on social media, dared to criticize your precious product. It's not even you they were criticizing. You now made yourself a target for everyone because I didn't even know who this guy was before this. I was just like, yeah, Ubisoft is putting out some trash. And it's not just Ubisoft. So now that people have said against the company that not the people, not personally the people, but the company itself is being trash and you were all up in your feelings for some reason. You're really gonna whine about how it's affecting your thousands of employees who are apparently giving it everything that they've got. But maybe, just maybe, I don't know, if you put a little bit more effort into the actual quality of your games, instead of constantly making excuses and playing the victim, those thousands wouldn't be feeling so impacted by the so-called hate. Newsflash, calling it hate doesn't magically erase valid criticism. People want better from you because they care, or at least they used to before you started crying about it like some baby whose toy got taken away. If the incredible experiences were truly being delivered, maybe the vocal minority wouldn't have so much to say. But here you are, being part of that vocal minority, bitching and moaning and complaining because of why? Your feelings got hurt? He continues by saying, how can you wish a company to fail simply because they do not cater to you or that the product does not please you is beyond me.
Are you being serious?
Bro, I'm dead ass trying so hard not to laugh. So let me get this straight. You cannot wrap your head around, you know, because it's so small apparently, why people would wish a company to fail just because it doesn't cater to them or the product doesn't please them. You don't understand why people don't give a damn about what happens to a company because it doesn't care about what its customers want. Really? Are your intestines tied up around your freaking organs? Are you experiencing some form of severe colic or blockage up there, my guy? The entire point of a company, I know this escapes some people's knowledge, but you'd think being in business or being in the industry, you would know this. It's basic 101. But anyway, especially in a customer-facing industry like gaming where you want people to spend money to buy what you're putting out, you're supposed to make them want to buy it. You fucking mook, right? To please them, to give them what they want. I hope you're not in a relationship because I can imagine you being the most selfish lover. Your guy or girl or whoever you date, you know, is like, hey, that sex was horrible. Like, I don't know what. And then imagine you getting upset because I can imagine this guy getting upset at his boyfriend or girlfriend because they criticized him for not putting in enough effort to please them when they put in the effort, and him turning around and chiding them by saying, well, you know, you don't know what it's like and what all my sisters and brothers had to go through. Like, how dare you not like the way I'm noodle dicking you right now? How dare you, even though you bust it down and stretch open my bussy? Like, it's so disgusting how people even get to this point in their lives when they're this entitled that you can be a seller and want people to buy your product, but then when they don't buy your product and criticize and tell you why they're not buying your product, you somehow blame them for not giving their hard-earned money to you. Are you being for real right now, right? Like, if you're failing at that one essential job to give the customer what they want, why on earth should people then root for your success, right? You're literally taking up space. Or, well, not literally, but you know what I mean. Well, kind of. Yeah, you have headquarters and stuff. So you are taking up space. If you're putting out shit and you're not giving the people what they want, what is the point of you existing then? It's business 101. If you don't satisfy your customers, they'll take their money and they'll go somewhere else with it. That's what they're doing. Look at the other games that are not under controversy. You kind of sound like one of those people who want people to stay in a really bad relationship despite how badly you treat them or neglect them. Expecting people to cheer on a company that consistently fails to meet expectations is, I'm sorry, peak delusion. If you're not making products people want or care about, you're doing a terrible job as a company. And right now, as a representative of that company, you should have shut your mouth and put down your freaking fingers because you're doing a horrible job at representing. When the Ubisoft company is already under so much fire and doing poorly, but then on top of it, you're gonna give them the worst press possible by painting this narrative that is still the customer's fault. Wow, somebody should have taken your internet away. He says, we're all on the same boat. Please, please, please stop spreading hate. We should all uplift each other instead of bringing each other down. Oh my God, really? Wow, that vocal minority is really gonna stop now that you said so, especially considering, based on what I've heard, that you allegedly started the hate first. Now, I can't confirm or deny this. At the very least, you were trying to incite discussion, and at the most, you were trying to start drama. And the guy seems to be confused because there's a pretty big distinction here that a lot of people miss, clearly, specifically these so-called representatives. Because when people criticize an entire company or a studio, it's not the same thing as attacking one individual. We're talking about holding a massive entity like Ubisoft accountable, right? A company like Ubisoft that has the resources, budget, and manpower to do way better than the low-quality games that they've been churning out. People aren't bullying Ubisoft. They're voicing frustrations about being consistently let down by this company that should be capable of delivering quality, especially with all those high budgets. Where's the money going? But this dude seems to be confused about what's happening. I'm not aware of anyone specifically, like, targeting Stevie Chessard, or however you say his name, until he decided to step in and make himself the center of attention. Yo, Stevie, you threw your